Hello, welcome to Ian HRP on YouTube and welcome to today's video for the Huawei P20 Pro. So as I said, welcome along. This is Ian HRP on YouTube, my first video for a while. Thank you to the new subscribers. Sorry I haven't had a lot to post recently, but I haven't had a lot of stuff to review, but this is one that I am reviewing now. It is the Huawei P20 Pro, the new phone which came out yesterday. I got it on day of release, and if you want to skip the whole rest of the video, it's a really nice phone. Probably the best Android phone I've had. My previous phone is the OnePlus 5, which I'm recording this video on before I chuck it on eBay and sell it for some money, because I need to pay for this somehow. But I thought I would have a change. I was going to wait for the OnePlus 6, which is due out soon, but this is particularly of interest to me with my photography, and particularly because of these things here, the 3 cameras that are on this camera. And what you will notice as well, look at the state of that smudge magnet on this blue version. I am keeping this cloth with me all the time because it just gets smudgy and horrible. In fact, I'm going to put it in the free case that you get when you buy the phone. So you get a free little protective case. So going over the specs, we have a 6.1 inch screen and it weighs 120 grams as a phone, and yes, it does have that notch up there. To be fair, that doesn't really bother me. It's the first time I've had a notch on a phone, and I've quickly got used to it. It works quite well within the software as well, so the notch isn't of a concern for me at all. As I said, it's a 6.1 inch display, and it is a OLED 2240 by 1080 in diameter. That's the resolution and the screen size that you get. It is full HD, so it's not 4K, but then on this phone it doesn't really bother me, and I have to say it's an extremely nice screen. I'll play you a video that's included on the phone as well later, which shows you the speakers, because it does have Dolby Atmos on there as well. So some of the other specs, it includes the Huawei Kirin 970 processor, which was in the previous P10 Pro, which I was going to buy until I suddenly realised that this would be out in the not too distant future, so I held off. It runs Android 8.1 with UE 8.1 as well, which some people are really saying isn't a nice operating system, but I have to say, again, I'm not minding it at all. It's not stock Android, but there isn't that much stuff on there that's to be annoying. It's got 6 gig of RAM inside, which is more than plenty for any phone, and 128 gig of storage. There is no SSD, which is a little bit disappointing, but 128 gig should be plenty for most people. Now, the battery is a 4000 milliamp hour battery. Charge time on their supercharged fast charge thing of about 1.5 hours. Standby time is reported to be 22 days and talk time of around 25 hours. Now, I've had this off charge since about 7 o'clock this morning, and it's down to 51%, but I have been using it a lot, particularly the camera, which I have been using quite a lot to get a lot of photos. Let me just scroll through to the battery. So as you can see there, we are on 1 day left completely. So far I have had a screen on time of used for 7 hours and 9 minutes since its last charge, and as you can see, the battery dropped, but that was when I was doing quite a bit of video recording and also taking photos. So the battery should be a lot better than the OnePlus 5, which I'm going from as well. So hopefully it should get me through the day, which the OnePlus 5 is starting not to. But if you're watching this on eBay, it's a brilliant battery that will last you forever. Before we talk about the camera, let's have a look around the device. On the bottom you have the dual speaker and also the USB Type-C, which is for your fast charging. There is no headphone jack in there, but you do get an adapter. Again, people really moan about the headphone jack. I'll just put the adapter on my headphones and then there you go, keep it on there. It's not a great deal breaker for me. That is the SIM tray in there. I've got the single one. You can get a dual SIM So these are your power button, and then your volume up and down on there, and then on the top you have got a RV blaster, so you can control your TV. Not quite sure why you would. And then your microphone, and then these little cutouts here are for the antennae. So on the front of the device you have a 24 megapixel front facing camera there, and also the microphone as well. And then you do have the home button on here, and I have to say the unlock via fingerprint is extremely fast. So if I just do, there you go, very fast indeed. It does have face recognition on there as well, which I haven't turned on as yet. I may do later. I tend to just find the fingerprint as easy as anything. So let's have a look at the screen, and as you can see, it does have a notch on top, which you can turn off in the settings, so you can have it so it's just your notifications on there, and the screen stops at the bottom of the notch. But I quite like the way that it handles the notch, and the next version of Android operating system is specifically catered for the notch as well, so I'm sure they'll be able to do more on there. But I like the way that it's got my notifications on this side here, and then my time and battery information, etc. on that side. So yeah, the notch is absolutely fine. The screen itself, as I said, is particularly nice. It's a very nice and vivid screen. I like the dimensions of it. It's actually not much bigger than the OnePlus 5 as in terms of dimensions, but the extra real estate that you get because of the thin bezels means you get a lot better screen as well, much more real estate on the screen side. So it does come with 2 videos that are already preloaded onto there, which you can delete, but they show off the Atmos sound and also the HDR display as well, because it does do HDR. So I'll just show you the Atmos video. And I'll just put the speakers up full.
Because we are so used to hearing sound this way, we don't notice that it is merely a fraction of what its potential could be. But what if sound could be extraordinary? Again. Engines are up and burning.
Opening main doors for secondary deployment.
Now that's loud. I'm not sure how well that's come across on the camera that I'm recording on, but the sound is very, very impressive indeed as well. And the screen is very nice. I'll just quickly show you the other video that's included. So yeah, really nice sound, and the screen as well, that is a HDR10 video, and the screen looks really good. As I said, I'm not sure how well that comes across on the camera I'm recording on, but when you're looking at it in person, it's probably the best screen I've seen on a mobile device. For me in particular, I really, really like it. A very, very nice screen indeed. So with regards to the cameras, the main selling point of this phone, for most people I would think, is the fact that it has a triple camera system. So you have 3 cameras on the back, and then you have a 4th camera around the front, and they are Leica branded as well, which is the closest I will ever get to being able to afford a proper Leica camera, because I will never afford one of the full body ones, that's for certain. So we have a 40 megapixel RGB f1.8 lens. You also have a 20 megapixel black and white f1.6 lens, and then an 8 megapixel RGB f2.4, and you can get up to 5 times zoom, which is impressive on a camera, and I have to say it works really well. I'll show you that later. You have intelligent stabilizing, so it's not optical stabilization, it's done within the camera itself via software. It works quite well actually, not bad at all. Dual tone LED and a front 24 megapixel f2 camera, which is the one just there. So those are the actual cameras that you have, and I like the way that they're positioned. They look nice on the camera as well. They do protrude slightly. He says, getting his cleaning cloth out. They do protrude slightly out of the camera, but to be fair, not as bad as they could have been. And for the cameras that you get on there, very impressive indeed. So let's have a look at some of the photos that have come out of the camera. I'm looking at these in Lightroom CC, which I don't use a lot, but I've uploaded them from my phone onto this, so this is the easiest way of doing it. Anyway, so these are all unedited out of the camera, so I haven't applied any filters or anything to these. These are just as they were shot in the camera. Unfortunately, I'm struggling to find out what settings these were done at because I didn't record them at the time, but anyway, let's have a look at some of the photos. So walking Bryn this morning, that's the dog. I've just gone out and the spring flowers at last are starting to bloom, and these little woodland flowers are very pretty indeed. I've got lots of photos of these from my main camera, but as you can see with the detail on there, it's picked it out really well. I would be happy with that picture if that came out of my Olympus OMD EM10 Mark II camera, which is my day-to-day camera. I would be more than happy with that as well. With a little bit of editing, let's just crop it down, go to a 1:1, just move that slightly there, and then let's apply some presets. Now these presets here are from Peter McKinnon, who you will know well if you follow him on YouTube. He's a very good photographer, and these are some of his presets he did, and I do like them as well. Let's just try brighten it up. No. Let's go to Red Crush. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work either. Right, let's go to Avatar. Quite like that one. Let's confirm the. So there you go. That is a perfectly acceptable Instagram picture, if you ask me. I like the way that it's blurred out the background here. I think that works very, very well indeed. So yeah, I like that photo. Very impressed. Next one. This is Bryn, the dog, who hates having his photo taken, will never look at the camera. And this was using the monochrome sensor, and as you can see, it's highlighted Bryn very well. It's the lines on there are pretty impressive. The portrait mode on that is not bad. A little blurry around there, but when you look at the pictures and overall, not bad at all. And then this is the other version of the photo that I took as well, and I love the fact that that bokeh is completely blown out. Very nice indeed. Some more pictures of flowers. They're a little soft, but I am pixel peeping here. From that view there, that looks perfectly acceptable. Nice colour rendition as well, and the detail is very good, and yeah, that's really nice. Right, here's a nice example of the bokeh. So these are some little plants growing in the woodland on the ground. I'm not quite sure what they are, someone will probably tell me, but as you can see, this was done with just straight out of the camera, and you can see that it's blurred out the background really nice, but it's kept the detail of the stuff that I wanted in focus. Like that photo a lot. This is a statue in the garden. This is the 3x zoom. So this is an optical zoom using the telephoto lens that's on there, and the detail is very good. And then if you go to the 5x zoom, which is a digital zoom, basically, it's not kept the detail that bad actually. It's a little soft, and you can tell it's slightly over processed in places, but for a 5x zoom on a camera, that's not bad. It does sometimes. Now I'm not overly happy. This was the sunrise this morning outside the house, and as you can see there, it just looks a little bit over processed for me. It's not a bad photo, but a little bit over processed. You have to be a little careful. A daffodil. These are out in force at the moment, which is always good. It's a sign that spring is here. But again, as you can see, the detail is really nice, and it's blurred out the background beautifully on there. Very, very nice indeed. So let's just go to, this is a HDR, not that overly processed actually, doesn't look that bad. I'm just going to try and find, right, here we go. So this is the no zoom picture taken. As you can see, I didn't get that in focus there. I focused down here, and that's bad. But that's the no focus, the no zoom. And then if we go to 3x zoom, which is optical, it keeps the detail quite nicely actually. Zooms in quite well. And then if we go to the 5x zoom, this is when you tend to lose the detail around fine detail. Starts to look a little soft and a little over processed again, but when you look at the photo as a whole, it looks perfectly fine. It's only when you go straight in at 100% that you tend to notice the difference. And then finally some lovely little daffodils that have been going, and again, really nice bokeh. So yeah, some very impressive photos are possible with this camera. So my final thoughts on the Huawei P20 Pro and my first impressions. I've had it since yesterday, so less than 24 hours since I first turned it on. I came back from work very excited when I knew it had arrived, but I really like it. I love the screen. I think it's a real standout screen on a phone of this price. Yes, it's not a super AMOLED screen. AMOLED, whatever. The ones you get on Samsungs. It's not one of those, but I don't think you'd really notice the difference. The camera is standout, I have to say. I am really impressed with it. The 3-lens configuration is probably one of the best you will see in a phone of this year. I don't think you'll get a better camera on a phone for quite a while on a smartphone, and it's amazing how far phone cameras have come. They are getting to the point where a lot of people won't need a normal proper camera, because they'll just have this around with them all the time. It's really impressive indeed. I've had no lag at all on any of the stuff that I've been doing. Games have been playing fine. I did see some videos about Google Maps not performing particularly well, but it seems to be working fine for me on here. The video quality is very good out of it. Could do with some optical stabilization, but you can't have everything. But overall, I am really impressed. I think I'm going to like this phone. Well, I'm going to need to, because I'm on a 24-month contract. But anyway, I think it's going to be a really good phone, and a good upgrade from the still very good OnePlus 5, which I do like, and you will be able to buy on eBay soon, depending on when you watch this video. Right, that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a thumbs up and share, and if you want to see more, then subscribe. I don't post particularly often, normally when I've got new stuff in. Oh, and what I forgot to say as well is, because I pre-ordered this, I get a free pair of Bose headphones, which I shall be doing a video on. Absolutely free. 320 quid's worth of headphones, free for pre-ordering. I shall be doing that as soon as the headphones arrive. So anyway, as I said, thank you for watching. There'll be more videos coming up at some point on this channel. Until then, bye for now.